that emotional, you see, the ice has broken. And he listened to him with rapt attention. Now the Saint Nikrodha says, my dear, you have become an emperor. Your ambition, you had everything, you are a king of Magadha, but still you wanted to be something bigger. You wanted to be a paramount ruler of the whole of this entire land of Jambudvipa, the name of India at that time. So, now you have become. So you have gained what you wanted. But at what cost, my dear? This devastation, this great country of Kalinga, which is now desolate and absolutely, completely destroyed, devastated. Isn't it your loss? You are the monarch of the area. So gain and loss go together. Wherever there is gain, there is bound to be loss. In modern times, for instance, our politicians, they are fond of power. They are power hungry. But they don't have time even to talk to their children. They're all the time busy 24 hours and busy for nothing. After all, they are in that seat for maybe 3 years or 4 years or whatever. After that, they just become zero. Now, the very powerful president of the United States, now he is no more a president. He was powerful. Now he is just an ordinary man. Now the present one also will become like that. So all the big so-called powerful people all over the world, if you see, so gain and loss in their lives is very, very clear indeed. Big billionaires, all billionaires nowadays, they have so much, still they run after more. And they lose peace of mind. The more they have, the more they want, the less peace they have. The less. More they lose. Their own private lives are very often wretched. So in this dichotomous world, the world of pairs of opposite rule, everywhere. The life of the man who is poor and absolute down and out, he has nothing. He is very unhappy because he has nothing. The man who has everything, and he too is very unhappy because he has everything. So now, if life has to have some meaning, it will have that meaning only if life means something meaningful, something that is worthy. Everybody seeks happiness. And if by gaining you lose your happiness, what is there? And if by losing you lose your happiness, what is it? What is there? Then there is no meaning in life at all. So, here in this sutta Buddha says, you see the difference between an uninstructed and unworldly type of individual, a selfish, self-centered person. All the time, you see, is thinking about himself, an absolutely irreverent person who has no use for ethical principles or spiritual values or anything of that sort. Now, such a person, never, he is if he is after something, gain of some kind, then even if he gains what he gains, it becomes a loss. Because he loses his peace of mind after gaining what he gains. He has no security, sense of security, or worth, sense of worth, or any sense of meaning in life. So if life has to be truly meaningful, then everything must be experienced in a way that wisdom rules life, not unwisdom. Now if you reflect, now when you have some gain and you say, look here, life itself is impermanent. One is born only to die. One, we have disease, we age, we suffer, because we are born. So if you are in a dimension where there is no disease, no pain, no suffering, no aging process, no worry, no running after things, and there is great peace and a blissful life, because you seek nothing and you lose nothing. Seek not, lose not. Great saying. People keep on seeking and therefore losing. As simple as that. So if you are a wise person, well instructed, spiritually instructed, you have got a good teacher who puts you on the right path, and he says, look here, people, when you get something, let it be anything, a piece of soap or $100 billion. Think what will happen to it. After all, you are not carrying with all that money. It will only become a burden. You have to go one day. The only thing that is bound to happen is death. And the only thing which is most uncertain is living itself. Once this experience become, you see, very clear, is profoundly absorbed within, then this dichotomy, running after the pairs of opposites, gain and loss, name and fame and disrepute or notoriety, praise and blame, happiness and misery. So he explained to Ashoka, well, great emperor, you have gained in this war. You are a great hero to your military officers and others. My goodness, your fame has soared. All over those who care about power and position and status and all worldly things, for them you have become very famous in their eyes. And at the same time there are hundreds and thousands of people who have lost their dear ones, lost their homes, lost this, lost that. You are hated. You see. So that's a great loss at the same time. As you gain, so you have lost also. They hate you. They don't love you. So these 8 conditions of worldly existence, they are there from the time you are born until you die. They are going to stalk you, they are going to dog you all the time. You will be placed under these various circumstances. Either you gain or lose, or somebody blames you, or somebody praises you, or you enjoy something and you see some pleasure or some pain. These opposites are going to be there all the time. Life is surrounded by them. And they surround life, and the world is surrounded by them, and they are also surrounded by the world, so to say. That is interdependent. They are mutually dependent. They are inseparable. That being the case, it makes sense that we become mindful with reference to all these 8 conditions of life. And there, mind you, the question of religion, question of this theory, that theory, you see, that somebody has created you, or no, there are no creation, nothing. It's an accidental thing, or just a Big Bang theory of science. All these religious dogmas or religious, theories and all that, we must think deeply upon them. What for are they? If they don't bring ultimate peace and happiness in life, any amount of any theories, any of these, all the quarrels, now religious wars and hatred become very rife throughout the world now. There's no peace, and religion is supposed to bring peace. And religion has become the cause for the loss of peace. Now those who are wise want to get something out of life before they quit. It makes sense that you think about it. Whatever you want, ask yourself why you want it. And if it is necessary, very good, you have it. But then know that it is impermanent and it is liable to bring suffering in some form or other. If you don't get what you want, then you will be unhappy. You think by gaining something you will be happy. And if you don't gain, then you bring unhappiness. So think deeply about all these worldly conditions which surround life. And here there is no question of this religion, that religion, this ism, that ism, this politics, that politics. No. Simple truth, that is what Lord Buddha taught. That life is burdened by these 8-fold, the 8 types of worldly conditions. And then, as soon as you practice yoniso manasikara, wise reflection on everything, on every, everything done, said or thought. As soon as you bring in this element of wise reflection, and there is no sense of I and me or this or that, no. Just plain the truth behind everything, the reality behind everything, reality behind what you say, reality behind what you do, reality behind what you act. Ultimately, life can be reduced to just one plain truth, and that is action. Karma, action, volitional action, that is intentional action. And action has a potency. Let us say here is a mango tree. In season, the mango tree produces hundreds of fruits, thousands of fruits. At other time there is no fruit at all. But it has the potency to produce fruit, maybe for years together. Similarly, every action may not give its result immediately. So you may think that, I can get away by doing this bad thing. I can kill, I can hunt, and say, it has been created by somebody for human beings to eat. Now, if the same logic is put by a tiger, let us say, he says, look here, So and so has Brahma has created human being for me to eat. Do you accept his logic? No. But you say nonetheless, no. Brahma has created not only me but everything, but you see, he has created you, all these animals, for me to sacrifice you and get punyam out of that, out some meritorious power or strength, some merit, and there you are. So this kind of logic in the name of religion. It is time for every seeker of truth to think deeply. That when every action has a potency, which simply means that it is capable of producing a result. And that result can be varied. It can be in the form of producing a rebirth. When a person dies, the person encounters a situation where, for instance, a person remembers everything that has occurred in his or her life. From the time he or she is a baby or a child till the old age, just before death, whatever he or she has done or said or thought, every action occurs before the mind's screen. It simply occurs and you can't help it. Those who have experienced, those who have been doing, let's say, visiting hospitals and all that, and meeting people who are just before death, in their deathbed, suddenly they soon, or before that, they say all kinds of things. And they're just death, you see, prior to death, the death proximate experience. My goodness, you can see how that person is going through all his whole life. And then that action which is very prominent and strong and which affects the mind, the potency of that action, if it is a good action, then the person is born reborn in a circumstances where everything will be so very sweet and nice and beautiful. If the person is born in the human world, he may be born very rich, very well-to-do, very happy, and with good parents, good chances of education, and progress in life further. Or it may be he or she has done some extraordinarily good, meritorious deeds, may be born in the plane of the devas, of the divine beings, of the divine planes. There are hundreds of different types of divine planes, and may be born in those. There the life is indeed blissful and happy, far more happier than the human world. But then, to be born means it has to start life. And anything which starts also ends. Anything which has a beginning must also have an end. So even divine life, or being born in the heavens, is not a guarantee to be freed from the truth. That is, that worldly existence in any dimension, whether human plane or divine plane, or animal plane or a ghost or evil spirit, that plane, in whatever plane, worldly existence as such is fraught with imperfections, and it is unsatisfactory ultimately because it is governed by the law of impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent and changeful, and nobody can controvert it. It is incontrovertible truth, reality of life. Now when Siddhartha experienced, Buddha experienced his childhood and then his parents and all that, he saw how impermanence has engulfed every form of life. So it's worthwhile thinking So this man, before his death, he sees all this sort of thing and he is reborn. If it is a bad karma, then the potency of that bad or unethical action leads him to lower planes of existence. He may be born an animal, he may be born a ghost, or anything of that sort. So that life is not just here in the human plane, and we should not, be so dogmatic as to say that we only exist and there is only one life and no more life thereafter. These are all dogmatic, statements. They have no meaning at all. There are people who can remember their past lives and they can recall. Buddha, for instance, before he became the enlightened one, he recalled all his past existences and he kept in record. It's a historical document. It's a recorded document called Jataka. And he proved all those past existences and the people with whom he was associated. And with all humility, it may be mentioned that even I had similar experience. I had seen people who can recall their past lives and they connect their past, the past associations with the present. So the law, karma is not a theory in Buddhism. It's a law. It governs the ethical and moral aspect of life. So, now if you think at the last moment, if you have something nice, good, and you are born. So if a person, while he or she encounters these 8 conditions of worldly existence, and then thinks, well, look here, one day I have to go.